What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be diving into your questions around the Minnesota Vikings. This is my favorite segment I do every single week where we just chop it up, answer your questions. It is the most fun I have doing what I do here at Chat Sports. But a little challenge to you guys. I want to get you guys more shout-outs on the show this offseason because we are in the months of June and July where there's no doubt it's the dog days of the NFL calendar. And if you're watching the show, you're a sicko right now, and I appreciate it. But whoever comments Skull the most on today's show, we'll give you a shout-out on the next show. So we'll see who does it, but just drop those skulls down below in the comment section. Hype Train 50-50. Love the profile pic. Should we be buying into the JJ McCarthy hype? Talking about just OTAs and everything. You see these viral clips, everywhere. I obviously think you should. It's funny, like every single team right now, every single fan base, and this is why the NFL is king, everybody's optimistic. Like, I think the Saints are going to be the worst team in the league next season. I think the Browns could also be the worst team in the league. But if you ask their fan base, they're probably saying, oh, yeah, we could sneakily win 9-10 games. Like, I just love the optimism that everybody has around their own football teams. But I definitely think you should be buying into the J.J. McCarthy hype. I mean, what do you got to lose? Like, might as well buy into it. He is the guy. He is QB1. He looks good at training at OTA so far. He looked good in that preseason game. He obviously looked great at Michigan. So, haven't seen anything to make me not buy into him. So, I would say hell yes to that first question. Passmaster, what's going on, Brody? Are we still in the running for Asante Samuel? Maybe Justin Simmons? What have you heard? Keep up the good work, great work, brother. I appreciate you. I think the Vikings are out on Asante Samuel. Apparently, they got concerns with his medicals. He's got a shoulder, neck issue, and I think that's also a big reason why he's unsigned right now. But Justin Simmons is an interesting one. The Vikings obviously run three safeties on the field almost 100% of the time. And you're really banking on that three-man unit of Theo Jackson, Metellus, Harrison Smith, just being a good trio next year, and two, just staying healthy. Like, Metellus has battled injuries here and there. Like, Harrison Smith, he's obviously an older guy. So I wouldn't hate them throwing maybe Justin Simmons like a 1 year, $6, $7, $8 million deal. I think it would be a seamless fit in the Flores defense. He can hop down, play some box linebacker, but also maybe another guy to watch out for in terms of adding a safety. What about Jalen Ramsey? What if you just put him at safety? He's got the size. Maybe a little Charles Woodson career arc for Ramsey. I could see it, but the only move I could see the Vikings making before the start of the season would be at the safety position. So Justin Simmons definitely makes some sense. Harvey Buxton, what's going on? Hashtag Vikings. Are you not concerned about how many players we have coming off season-ending injuries? There's definitely a good amount. You got Darrisaw, Will Fries, Kelly. I don't think he was season-ending. I think he finished last season. But, I mean, two big pieces on the offensive line. Like, yeah, definitely that's a concern for me. But I'm also just going to bank on these guys being healthy. Like, I am concerned, but also injuries happen for every single team. And, the Vikings did get fairly lucky with injuries last season. Besides Mekhi Blackman and Christian Darrisaw, they didn't really lose too many guys. So definitely a concern, but I'm also not, staying up at night, freaking out about Darrisaw getting re-injured or, a guy like Will Fries as well. GR8 V7 hashtag Vikings. How do you feel about the rumors about Kirk Cousins and the Vikes? I'm just not really buying into them. Listen, if they didn't already trade for Sam Howell, I would probably be doing a show on Kirk Cousins. I just don't think it's going to happen. Don't want to take on his contract, first off. You're going to have to give up draft capital. Two things I don't want to do. And, yes, if I had to pick who I would want as the backup quarterback this next season, not thinking about contracts, not thinking about anything, it would probably be Kirk Cousins. He knows the system. I think he'd be a great voice in J.J. McCarthy's ear, but after they traded for Sam Howell, they obviously love Brett Rippon. There's just really no need for Kirk Cousins anymore. So, yeah, I'm not really buying into him. I think it's just, that time of the offseason where people are just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. Corey Miller. Pat Sieps. Skull. Why do you think the media dislikes JJ as a franchise quarterback? I just think this is all pre-draft thoughts on JJ. Like, he was a very polarizing prospect where people are saying, no way this kid can go first round. Like, he barely had to throw the ball at Michigan. Like, why would anybody take him to be the franchise quarterback for their team? And I understand that. But also, like, JJ just catches random strays. Like, also, the amount of times people misreport his injury, like calling it a torn ACL when it was a torn meniscus. Like, even that Tucker guy saying the Vikings weren't sold on McCarthy. It just seems like any chance anybody has to put out an article that is not in favor or a negative article around McCarthy, they put it out there. I have no idea. He's a great effing kid. Like, he is, everything you would want out of a franchise quarterback off the field. So I got no idea, man. Evan Hinders, what's going on? Great question here. Should Minnesota trade Jalen Naylor for Michael Pittman Jr.? Interesting thought. I don't think the Colts would do that. You'd probably have to attach a pick. I've always been a massive fan of Pittman. He's a great 50-50 guy, and I do think the Vikings could use another guy like that. Also, Pittman would be great in the red zone, but you also already have Hawkinson. He's a great red zone guy. Obviously, Jefferson and Addison, they're great in that area as well. So I would probably say no, assuming that you would have to attach draft capital to that. And also, I want to see number 1 Jalen Naylor, not number 83. I want to see Jalen Naylor with 15 pounds more of muscle on him. So I'm going to say optimistic about Naylor, and I'll probably say no to that question, Evan. But you guys let me know. Who's your favorite Vikings player of all time? Like, what guy really made you fall in love with this football team? For me, it was Adrian Peterson. I was a young kid watching him run that rock, and it was must-watch TV for me every single game. A random Viking that I loved was like Sidney Rice. I was obsessed with him. I was like 10 years old during the 2009 season. But, hey, you guys let me know. Who's your favorite player on the Minnesota Vikings of all time? Now, we'll get to more questions here in a second. But I do got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor as Factor Meals. Now, get started at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use code VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Now, summer is here, everybody, which means more sun and more light and also more time to do all the things that make summer so special. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer, spending hours cooking inside. That's where Factor comes in. Factor, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. In Factor meals, they arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over summer and beyond. Here covering the Minnesota Vikings, we got out of work here at the office around sometimes 7 o'clock at night, and you don't always feel like making a home-cooked meal, and that's where Factors came in and has completely changed my life. They got a ton of different great options. Like, I love their blackened salmon. Their Texas cheddar burger is fantastic as well, and you guys will definitely find something you enjoy. So if you guys want to give them a chance, I highly recommend it. Get started at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use code VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code VikingsChat50 off at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Click that link in the comment section and description of today's show. Alrighty, funny boy Roddy coming in. Are you concerned about Will Reichard? Not really. I understand he struggled at the tail half of last season, but I think that was mainly just because of his hamstring injury. I mean, he was money for the first 8 weeks of the year before he got hurt. So I'm not too concerned about it. Now, yes, if he starts the season off struggling, like, we will definitely be concerned. Like, he is not a surefire thing where it's like, the Vikings had like prime Justin Tucker where it's like, hey, you knew he was making every single extra point, every single field goal. Definitely don't feel that right now with Reichard, but honestly, if I see a couple preseason games and he's looking good, I'm going to have no concerns. But I also totally understand if people do have concerns. I just think his struggles at the tail half last season were just because of that hamstring injury. Cohen B, who do you think our top 5 players will be at the end of this upcoming season? Good question. I think you can pencil in Christian Darrisaw, Justin Jefferson, and Jonathan Grenard. Now, in terms of the 4-5 spot, I'm going to go number 4. I'm going to go Jordan Addison. I think Addison's going to cement himself as like an undisputed top 2, top 3 wide receiver 2 in the league. Yeah, I'll go Addison at 4. Number 5. I wanted to say Dallas Turner, but I just don't know if he's going to get on the field. I'll go Byron Murphy Jr. I think he's going to take another step this upcoming season. So I'll go Jefferson, Grenard, Darisaw, give me Jordan Addison, and give me Byron Murphy Jr. Tommy Wood, what's going on, man? Saying, how's our depth look? And our special teams was one of the worst last year. Do you see improvement or an issue? Definitely wasn't great last year. I think in terms of explosive plays on special teams, we should see an uptick, and just because of the returners they brought in. Like, you know, even a guy like UDFA out of Texas, Silas Bolden. You got Rondell Moore. You got, you know, Ty Felton could potentially be back there. Hopefully they have more juice in the return game. But, yeah, I don't know. Special teams is a tough thing to judge this offseason. Like, it's going to have to be one of those where we're going to have to see it to really have a take on it. But, yeah, I mean, it was definitely an issue last year. Hopefully it's not an issue this season, and hopefully Matt Daniels can get that unit under control. Cohen B, what's going on, man? Bit early, but who's on their last year of the contract, and do you think we will re-sign most of these people? First one that came to mind is obviously Josh Metellus. I would assume the Vikings get that done before the season begins. But besides that, I think Pace is on the last, Pace is on the last year. Van Ginkel got re-upped. Vikings really don't have too many guys on one-year deals. Yeah, they got most of these guys locked up here. Yeah, like Pace is another one. I'm assuming they'll re-sign him. Shot the long snapper, Andrew DePaula. 2-time All-Pro. He should get an extension. Like Harrison Smith, I'm assuming he retires. Like Rondell Moore, 1-year deal. Yeah, really just Metellus, and I think they will probably get him, you know, locked up. Hopefully before the start of the season. Eric, what's going on? Hashtag Vikings. JJ McCarthy stats for 2025. 3,700 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4 rushing touchdowns. Too steep? I don't think too steep. I think this would be like a ideal year for JJ. Like if he put up these numbers, we're talking about him being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And if JJ puts up those numbers, I think the Vikings go 15-2, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Is it too steep? Maybe it's a little rich, but I don't think, like, would I be shocked if this happens? No, I wouldn't. I'm a full believer in JJ McCarthy. Evan, what's going on? Should Minnesota go back to the dark purple jerseys? Yes. What Brett Favre wore, that's the best. 100%. 110% they should go back to those. Those things were awesome. I also think the jerseys back in like 2009, when they were kind of like the penny jerseys in the NFL, those things were sweet. And also, I do like the darker purple on the Vikings uniforms compared to the purple we have now. So, Evan, great point. I 110% think they should go back to those. And I don't know. There was just something about seeing like Adrian Peterson rocking those jerseys, like Sidney Rice rocking those. Those things were sweet. Even got like Antoine Winfield I just thought about when I have those jerseys pop up in my head. But yeah, 110%, man. And hey, we appreciate all of you guys watching today's mailbag. If you guys watch this entire thing, hit me with a skull down below in the comment section. Again, friendly reminder, whoever comments skull the most, we will give you guys a shout out on the next show. And also, if you guys want to hit me up on Twitter, if you have any more questions around the Minnesota Vikings, just hit me up over there. That's the handle, @PatSeeps. We'll see y'all next time. As always, Skol Vikes.